And Jaylen Brown, be careful what you wish for. You really want me to start reporting on that level? You understand? Locker room? How the organization might think about you? How the city may feel about you? How Jason Tatum may or may not have feel about you? Sneaker deals, endorsement deals, the list goes on and on. The season is over, bro. You on Twitch, trying to do what I do and talking about me needing to step away. It makes no sense.
All right, so in today's video, we need to talk about Stephen A. Smith's response to Jaylen Brown, because Jaylen Brown went all the way in on Stephen A. Smith, called him out directly, cursed him out live on his stream. He said F Stephen A. Smith, then followed it up with Stephen A., Stephen B., Stephen C., my offer still stands. And Stephen A. Smith did not let that slide. He fired back on First Take, and I want to break down his response, because it wasn't just a clapback, it was a warning. Stephen A. essentially looked Jaylen Brown in the eye through that camera and said, I can dismantle everything you have built in Boston. I can damage your relationship with Jason Tatum. I can affect your standing with the ownership. I can turn the city against you. I can shift how the fans see you. So the question he was really asking Jaylen was, are you absolutely sure you want to go to war with me? Because what exactly are you trying to accomplish here? That's not just a response. That's a calculated message, letting Jaylen Brown know exactly what's at stake if this escalates. So let's go ahead and pull up that clip right now, and then we'll come back with more commentary on the other side. And if you're finding value in this video, please take a second to hit that thumbs up. It genuinely helps support the channel, and I really do appreciate it.
Jaylen Brown, be careful what you wish for. You really want me to start reporting on that level? You understand? Locker room? How the organization might think about you? How the city may feel about you? How Jason Tatum may or may not have feel about you? Sneaker deals, endorsement deals, the list goes on and on. The season is over, bro. You on Twitch, trying to do what I do and talking about me needing to step away. It makes no sense. I'm not being disrespectful. I'm simply making the point that it is not wise, after 24 hours of having your season over in the first round, for you to be coming out talking about that's your favorite season. It ain't the smartest thing in the world to do. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I was trying to sit up there and look out by letting you know this is not a good look. It's not wise. That's all. And I would have respected Jaylen Brown more, Big Perk, Jay, had he come at y'all, had he come at everybody who said exactly what I was saying. But evidently, you understand, when you're talking about clickbait and all of that stuff, somebody told you one of the best ways to get it is to bring up my name. And that's what you did. So who's really looking for clickbait? Is it me or is it you? And obviously, you would think you wouldn't need it. $304 million, NBA player. You don't need it. What you doing it for? Before I even get into it, could you do me a favor, please? Get your ass a studio. You looking like you in some dungeon, some little room or whatever. You making $54 million a year. You're gonna make 57 next year, 61 the year after that, 67 the year after that. You're in the midst of a $304 million contract. Get a studio with a director and a producer. Calling up clips of mine, the computer ain't even working right, can't even get the full sound up in there. Get that together. That's number one. Stop being so damn cheap. You got the money. Pay it, okay, for a better production. Number one. Number two, I'm not going to disrespect Jaylen Brown. It's amazing to me, Jay, Big Perk, Shay, how Perk said all the things he said, you said all the things you said, Wilbon said all the things he said. Everybody said something, and I went on, I've spoken on it on numerous occasions, and you picked some 20-second clip of me talking about how Jason Tatum showed up on First Take, but not your podcast. Stop it. I'm not going to get into all of that. Was Jaylen Brown bringing up the fact that I wasn't reporting when I was raving about him all season long? When I was talking about him for the most of the season as a top 2 league MVP candidate, when I was pissed off and I raised holy hell on the air when he got ejected from the San Antonio Spurs game and he didn't deserve that, when I talked about him leading the pack and doing the things that he's done and solidifying his greatness as an athlete, did he complain then? Did he complain when how many times that we can't even count when I talked about the brilliance of this young man, his philanthropy in the community, the kind of things that he's done, and I've been raving about that all of these years. Did he complain about my reporting then? No, he did not. When I made news years ago, and I was talking about how it's not fair to him, but because he is smart, because he doesn't suffer fools, because he will speak his mind, etc., it's alienating some people on Madison Avenue and beyond, which is why he doesn't necessarily have a sneaker deal and he doesn't get the advertising dollars and and has the marketing muscle of, say, somebody like his teammate Jason Tatum. Do you know that I spoke about that and he came to the finals wearing his t-shirt to show me your sources, or to the playoff game rather, show me, to tell us your source or whatever the case may be? You know what? There was no question that I was right. You know, and the bottom line is that his own family came up to me in Dallas and thanked me for talking about him the way that I did, because they recognized the fact that I was showing him respect, not disrespect, okay? He won the Eastern Conference Finals MVP, you know, most valuable player. He won the NBA Finals, you know, MVP, or, you know, most valuable player award. All of this other stuff. Was he complaining then? No. But here he is complaining now. Why? Because he's pointing the finger in the wrong direction. Point it at yourself, bro. Let's recap.
So that's what Stephen A. Smith put out there, a clear warning shot directed straight at Jaylen Brown. And like I said, the way Stephen A. came across, it almost sounded like he was saying, I will dismantle everything around you. Your relationships with your teammates, your standing with ownership, your brand deals, your income, all of it is within my reach. That's genuinely how I would have received that message if I were Jaylen Brown. It was heavy. And then, of course, Stephen A. couldn't resist turning it into a moment to talk himself up. He went into full bragging mode, telling Jaylen, you're out here trying to do what I do, trying to be what I am. His advice? Get better at it. Build a real studio. You're a $54 million man. Act like it. That's just classic Stephen A. Smith doing what he does, turning any situation into a platform to remind everyone of who he is and what he's built. So with all of that said, I do want to play a bit more of Jaylen Brown's stream, specifically toward the end, just in case some of you didn't catch the full video I posted earlier. I want to make sure everyone has the full context before we continue breaking this down. So let's go ahead and check out what Jaylen Brown had to say about Stephen A. Smith, and why exactly Stephen A. is feeling some kind of way about all of this. Let's get into this clip right now.
You want me to be quiet and stop streaming? Well, I want you to be quiet and get off these networks, because you're not using your platform to do real journalism. You're using your platform to use clickbait. You're using your tell this motherfucker to retire, you know, because he's the face of clickbait media at the point. And maybe with his retirement, we could spark a movement to get the rest of these motherfuckers out of here, or to also have some type of forget journalistic integrity, actual integrity, in order to hold themselves accountable to the bullshit takes they put out with no basis, no bias, no information, just narrative, just for the sake of just pushing a weak narrative, just purely out of that. I'll give it up. I'll pass streaming. I'll sign some streamers or some shit. I'll you know what I mean? It ain't a big deal. Y'all ain't never heard from me before this. Think about it. I don't do no media, no podcasts. I don't do none of that. I barely post on social media. But the fact is that my obligation is to, as an athlete, I'm obligated to speak to the media. It's my job. Like, he thinks the media is his job, and so is it. It's my job too. It's in my contract. If I do not speak to the media, then I will be fined. So when they use that comparison where it's my job, it's your job to play basketball, it's also my job to speak to the media. It is also my job to speak to the media. I get fined if I don't.
All right, that's gonna do it for today's video. I just wanted to make sure you all got a chance to see that clip of Jaylen Brown calling out Stephen A. Smith directly. And like I said, this isn't the first time Jaylen has stepped up and challenged Stephen A. on his journalism and the way he covers certain stories. This is a pattern, and Jaylen Brown has made it clear that he's not going to back down when it comes to holding people accountable for what they put out there.